What's going on, folks? This is Dimitri back again. In this video, we're gonna be still continuing on the journey of financial blessings, knowing what the God's word said in the Bible about financial blessings and things like that. And so we're going through that and understanding what God has in store through the Bible, and talking about mentioning financials and blessings and all that good stuff. So in this episode, so to speak, so we're gonna go through Genesis 13 verses 14-17. I got my cheat sheet here that is off the camera, but and then we're a little bit in there, so but I'm gonna go and start with the with this. So, and the Lord God said to Abraham, so it's right in the Genesis 14:17. So the Lord God said to Abraham, after the Lord has separated from him. So just to get a bit of premises, so in a few other verses that we worked through in the other past two videos, we got Lot and Abraham, two relatives basically, so to speak. So I think Lot, so God told Abraham to leave the place, go to the specific place, and Lot was with him. The thing there, though, is the situation we discussed, how the enterprises of both two guys, Lot and Abraham, was too big to be together. So when God said you to move and without anybody, you got to listen to him. So that's one good big lesson there, because even though there might be some financial or family responsibilities and things like that, in a nutshell, even in the practical things, you can see that it's not being like your enterprises are too big that they are not being able to sustain you. The land there. So, and that's another big eye-opening for me there. And we went through a lot of it, but a premises was that the two guys had enterprises going on for them, and they've been moving to another place, even though it was only Abraham supposed to be alone. But due to whatever reason, so they went together, and still, even with that, like, they were still moving through the direction, right, through the places, and they still, like, obviously as they were keep moving together, the land there, they were not being able, because of their being togetherness, I guess, so they were not be able to sustain them, right? And that's now we're in the place we understand, so where Abraham, or where Lot actually leaves Abraham at that point, and that's where we got about mentioning sort of things about concerning blessings and financial blessings, and just blessings, prosperity, and all that good stuff. So there we are, and this is the entry where God says to Abraham, hey, here's the situation. So so God says to Abraham, hey bro, lift your eyes now and look from the place where you are. I'm paraphrasing obviously, but it literally says lift your eyes now and look from the place where you are. So look at the north, south, northern, southern, eastern, eastward, and westward. So in all four places, right? And for all the land that you see throughout your spot. So I'll give that to you and your descendants, and I give it to you and your descendants forever. And I will make your descendants as the dust of the earth, a lot, and so that if a man could number the dust of the earth, they could number your descendants also could be numbered. And so arise, walk in the land through its length and its width, for I give it to you. So we got a few situations here going on, right? So we definitely see a lot of good stuff, like obviously a land. Why the land is important? Well, as you might have heard me on this channel, so I talk a lot about real estate and financial things, and just incorporating, obviously, as well as incorporating the spiritual side of things there that we're talking about here. So financial blessings, real estate, and prosperity and all that good stuff. From the biblical point of view, not going into all like extremes or anything, but just looking at the word, what it says and everything like that. So being in the balance of good stuff. So there we go. So now they're talking about the land, right? So there's going to be an establishment of things, it's like just they putting you into a place where God put Abraham into a spot where, look at this all around you basically and see that's basically yours, right? So I'm giving that to you. So the importance of the land, right? We see so that's basically, obviously getting there, putting the roots in there, putting the stuff in there, but the land is important. And I remember there was a really good statement that has been made to me not that long ago. Get the land, it's not being made anymore. So things like that. Not in the sense that, but you get what I'm saying, because it's a rare commodity and there's a lot of things can be done on the land and basically like that. So going forward, but that's a really important concept there, because you can see that it needs to be owned, it needs to be contemplated, whatever. So it needs to be downright, it needs to be attended to the fact that he already got some enterprise going on. So he has silver and gold and lots of cattle. So that, as far as I remember, on Abraham's side, on the Lot side, he had a little bit enterprise in real estate and tents, right? So, and then, but here we see that he got this and that and that. So you got 3 enterprises going or whatever, like one definitely, but the other 2 is more like accounting and whatever, financial, whatever. But it's, I'm reading between the lines, it's definitely like, it doesn't say accounting in the Bible or anything, but he definitely had silver and gold, so he needed to do something with it. Thus obviously he needs to manage it, put it into proper perspective, proper usage and things like that. So accounting wise and all that. So, well, there you go. So now we see here an expansion also, as far as my from the third look perspective, we can see an expansion of his enterprise, so to speak, as well. So he comes into a spot, he sees it, like God shows him, hey, here's the situation, look at it, that's basically, I give it to you to manage, maintain and things like that. So I give it to you, right? And first of all, you got to look at it to understand it, right? So before you get that enterprise into your perspective, you got to see it, all right? You got to see how it's going to be basically your canvas on where you're going to operate. And that's really interesting idea where if you opening a business, let's say, right, you need to understand what is it, so, and that's very interesting concept that I just thought about it, because when you start something and you don't look at it from your just even physical perspective, if you draw it out, put it into perspective, what's going on. Obviously there are lots of things in our day and age is that it's important, it's going on, it's a lot, many things are just digitalized, so it's kind of hard to see it at the perspective of, let's say you want to build a website, right? It's kind of, well, depends. For me specifically, it's kind of hard to see kind of abstract website looking thing. Obviously you need to understand niche specifics and things like that, but it's a good perspective here where in the business where you're going, first you need to see it, right? So when you understand what's the end game and things like that, obviously you're not gonna know all all the things some type of rock here, rock there. It's just the analogy that I go on driving into is that, hey, you got to look into it. You're not going to see. So if you imagine yourself, you stand on a mountain or some type, or a plateau or whatever, and then you look around, obviously you will see nearby you some sort of bushes or whatever, grass, whatever type of things around you are, but you're not gonna see from whatever mileage, like a mile from you, you don't see the like a little rock there somewhere in the miles from you. But the thing is that you see a mile from it, but you see a general perspective of, you know, like you kind of want to move and get into that position, right? And that's where we see here, I will make you descendants as dust of the earth. So there's a promise, right? And then so the man could, so that if man could number them, you can, like, they can number your descendants. So there's another promise. So but arise and walk in the land through its length and width, for I give it to you. So right, you as a perspective here, so you look at this thing, yeah, and then you understand it. So okay, so you know what, let's say okay, you know what, let's just like make it like sort of practical perspective. And I really love this. I actually like love the concept of it. You look at the stuff, you look at the, let's say real estate, right? So you want to do real estate investment for whatever reason, like, you know, or open a business, open a website, or let's say open a hair shop or like barber shop, whatever, right? So you look at the general perspective, you know what, hey, boom, you know what, I see it, I understand it, I kind of like, I kind of see what I'm working, right? So you have that canvas or concept of what you're working at, right? And then here's the practical perspective. Go walk the land through length and width, right? So that's the second step, right? You need to understand not everything, but the general concept of working through it, right? So general concepts of like real estate investments, and we talk about it a lot on this channel, like financing, things like that, or finding a good deal, finding a good mortgage agents, real estate agents, all that good stuff, right? So all the well, we go a little bit in detail sometime, but the mechanics of you going through the strength and through the width. So you basically go through that whole that ordeal to understand what are you working with. So you got a canvas, you know what you're working with, general perspective, okay, I see it, and then you actually go through them, and then you analyze it. You can go into detail, right? It doesn't necessarily say here in this concept of in this verses here, but as you walk through the land, you will see all the cracks, all the bumps or whatever. So definitely not in so much detail, but here in our perspective, if you walk the land, so if you go and walk that all throughout those mechanics, you don't necessarily need to work them out, or well, it's a good perspective to work them out, but the walking the land, obviously it's going to be exercising them, or at least visiting right? So but that's the command that's specific here, specific for Abraham. Walk the land and see what you're working with, basically. So, and in the sense of the opening business, I would say that's really also a good analogy to walk through it, basically know the mechanics. Hey, so what it takes to open a website, let's say, right? And that's so general, and I just like picking up the, you know, top like, you know, low hanging fruit, so to speak. You know, you gotta do hosting. How much hosting will cost you? Okay, so there's a development cycle. How is that? Or there's a, you know, production cycle, like things like that. So what is the product kind of thing? What is the niche of your business? Things like that. So you're walking through all those concepts. So you're walking through the plateau, you're walking through the mountain. So you're walking through the, you know, woody wood kind of setting there. No grass, yes grass, lakes, whatever. So you will see all those concepts, not necessarily directly, but you're working through that canvas that you're working with, right? So, and that's where you go through the mechanics, understand that, and then obviously we will go through the steps that it says down there below. So, but that's for the next video. And if you want to hear that, like and subscribe down below. So that's a shameless plug because I like it, and it has to be said. So so thank you guys. Pretty much that's all I wanted to share with you. And man, that's an awesome promise that God fulfills it later. Actually fulfills it right there and there. But the second step there, and I make your descendants as dust of the earth, and so on and so forth. So as he fulfills the future, the next few sentences that's in that promise, then we'll see it down the line. But man, it's a great example and great approach that we can take, in the sense that, hey, you know what, it's very practical, that we can utilize this specific piece of verse here, that we can implement it to our own lives today, in the present. And we can definitely, hey, we got a canvas, we got a business. If you don't have a business, understand, like, you know, hey, how to find that business, right? But as you get into that perspective, you look around, you see what you're working with, you go through back, like that's what it says, go back and forth, analyze what kind of mechanics are involved, analyze what things you're working with, and then next steps is to cultivate or analyze and do that. But again, here in Genesis 13, chapter 13, 14, and 17 through 17, it also a challenge, I would say, for Abraham, is to expand his enterprise, go after it, because you got to sustain yourself throughout all that, right? And to get there, you know, to get a better and get greater, you as we know from other two videos, and analyzed a few other verses, he had that backup plan, so to speak, in the sense that, you know what, there are things in place, there are workflows and income streams that he has to take a better and to take over a bigger venture that we're talking about here. So he basically got a piece of land to work with. So basically, to expand, even expand enterprise, or make other ventures workable. And then obviously there basically comes up basically a nation after that. So you know what, there's that. So there's that. So basically, you enterprise, you grow, and that's where it is. So you follow, you see, you follow, and you fulfill in that perspective, right? So see what you know, or see what you got, go through the mechanics. That's the practical perspective where those verses are telling us today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I did certainly when I was doing it. So today, hope you guys enjoyed this. So like and subscribe down below. My name is again Dmitry. So yeah, hope you guys like it. So see you guys next time. Bye bye.